Okay, says I'm live. Good morning. It's Sunday morning, September 4th, and hi there. I'm traveling and thought that I would do a live yoga practice, impromptu. I don't have a plan. I'm just going to go for it. Traveling is always kind of a challenge on the body, whether it's on an airplane through airports or driving in a car, which I was doing, and also just being in unfamiliar surroundings. I'm at a really nice Airbnb here. So I'm going to change the focus of the camera there and invite you to come on down to your mat. In fact, let's start seated. So typical things that happen to me in terms of travel and what gets my body is back, because first of all I was driving and car's manual, so there's all that pressing and maneuvering, and I hope this sounds okay. I don't have I just had the mic on the camera. The light looks good, so I'm glad about that. Anyway, back, definitely the key place, I think. But then there's also just kind of a discombobulation in terms of my energy. I was fine in the car, but as soon as I arrived in this new space, it took me quite a bit of time to not feel kind of anxious. I don't know, just in my body. So there's a little bit of that going on too. So in a comfortable seated position, and if you need something, I'm going to grab a block. Since my back's a little sore, using the block to sit on or cushion or something to elevate the hips really makes a difference for the back. And there is certainly no reason to be in pain or uncomfortable in any way. That's not yoga. So take the time to get something to sit on if you need that. And let's just have the hands resting on the thighs somewhere that's comfortable. So maybe you want to hold further away from the body, perhaps closer, wherever's comfortable. And just close your eyes and feel yourself in space. And breathe deeply, fully. And just notice maybe your deep and full is not what it usually is. Maybe it's different today. Just breathe and enjoy the sensation of breath. And just as a reminder, this is a total experiment. I don't have all my equipment for recording. I hope the sound's coming across okay. We're going to do a little grounding exercise that pulls in all of the directions. This is to help the body and energy field locate itself and catch up with itself if there has been any travel that was kind of quick, like an airplane. So as you breathe, let's tune into the ground first. Feel your body become heavier. Feeling your sit bones if you want to rock gently side to side and just feel what's happening there. I noticed that my back's really sore. And really, there's nothing to do. It's just a matter of being and relating to the force of gravity. Just become aware and let the body soften. Feel how gravity rises up to meet the body, and notice where your body touches the floor. And in those places you notice, see if you can release any holding downward. And as you do, you might notice the response of the upper body to gain some length and space. So this is what some refer to as the route to rise. But just focus more on the grounding sensation at the moment. You might even feel the surface of your feet, even though they're not touching the ground. Just become aware, maybe wiggling your toes a little or curling your toes. Just to feel the parts of the body there that normally touch the earth. And then we've already started to maybe rise a little. So now really focus on creating space from the waist up. Growing tall through the spine, finding space between each bone. And maybe feeling what happens as a result of thinking tall, thinking regal. That maybe the shoulders drop slightly back and away from the head. The arms might in that moment become a little heavier, a little more grounded. And again, with that grounding, a lightening, a lengthening through the back of the neck, the front of the neck, and even the energy of our mind maybe beginning to rise and center into that third eye space in the center of the head, just above the eyebrows. And then feeling into the space above you, just above the crown. The energy of spaciousness, so vast, so open. And how it comes down just as gravity comes up to meet you. That energy of space and vastness comes down to meet you. So you are sandwiched between gravity and space. Now let's turn our attention to the direction behind us. So behind, just feel that space behind you, the back body. It doesn't get a lot of attention. Maybe imagine you could see out the back of your head with your eyes. What do you see there? If you could see that way. And if you're a teacher, you probably could. Being aware of any tension, any tightness. And what is back there, you know? Sometimes we hide things we don't want to look at. We keep them back there. Baggage. So use this moment to release that. Let the body find space behind itself to lean into, as if there was the back of a chair supporting your back. Feel supported through the structure of your bones, and also through the tension lines of the body in space. So let's bring our attention now to the left side of the body. And just notice how it might feel. We can even bring in the right side at the same time to compare. I mentioned I was driving manual, and so there is a little bit of unevenness left to right, which I have anyway, so it's a little pronounced. So just notice anything in your body left to right that might be different. I always forget which side is masculine, which side's feminine, but if you are aware of that, or you might be able to sense into that energy of male and female, masculine and feminine, really. It's not about sex, it's about energy. But then in some traditions, they also talk about the two directions, left being ancestral. So maybe feeling into that line of history. And then the present, often to the right, our current reality, current support systems, current challenges. Just feel all of that balancing out here. Cleansing breath, always welcome, or yawn or sigh. And then let's bring our attention to the last, well, not quite yet the last direction, but forward space. So just feel in front of you your unknown future. Potential. Heart space, the front of the body, the way we open to the world. And this would be a good moment maybe even to consider your intention for today. What do you want to experience, or how do you want to approach this day regardless of what you experience? Deep breath and release. And now our final direction, which is the center. So what I'd like you to feel into is everything, all those directions we've worked with, coming back into center. So bringing gravity and spaciousness into the heart, bringing left and right energies into the heart, and bringing past and future energies back and forward into the heart. Allow a couple of deep breaths here, uniting and swirling that energy in the heart. Good. And just notice, maybe sitting now this way, you can take the block away from yourself. You might want to remain on the block or cushion, so it's up to you. Just notice if there's any change. I do feel as though I want to come off it, so I'll remove that for the moment. And let's just start by making some circular movements through the seat. So here I'm just really feeling into my back, which is quite sore. Just noticing what my body's going to be like as I go through this practice. And because I am aware of the soreness, and I'm going to be a little more tender and maybe do a little more of poses that hold as opposed to flows or movements. We'll see when I get into it. So switch direction if you haven't. And as I'm, going away from one side, I'm kind of pushing hand in knee and knee into hand, which is helping to stretch the sides of the body just slightly. Again, just to warm up, not doing anything really big yet. Okay. And then coming back to center, let's hold on to the ankles or shin and do some cat-cow movements. So extending forward and opening through the chest, rocking the hips, or the pelvis rather, forward, and then rounding back. Oh, that feels good. So coming through with the inhalation, exhaling as you round. And again, feel free to make this more movement back and forth in whatever rhythm, or hold if that feels good. So perhaps, another theme of this practice could be a little bit dealing with fear. This came up for me, or has been up for me, facing things that I thought I was incapable of doing and fearing doing. And one of those things is traveling on my own in France. And I'm doing it. After reteaching myself to drive stick, I had some help with that. And just recognizing, just being with the fear. That's all you have to do is kind of sit with it, notice it, feel it. Eventually it passes, or if it doesn't, you just kind of, plow through. Okay, so let's come on to the back. That actually felt really good. I hope it did for you too. Notice that, didn't do a lot, seemingly, didn't seem like a lot. And yet, if you stuck with me, you may notice that your body feels quite different. So let's come on to the back. And I think I'll be in constructive rest for a bit because, oh yeah. this position itself is just so relieving to the structural muscles. Also gives the belly a chance to drop back and soften. And of course, a lot of the times, if we are working with fear, we might feel it in this region, you know. It might make it difficult for us to eat or digest. We might feel nervous or anxious in the gut. So just allow softening, and I'm kind of moving my hands over my thighs and belly and mid ribs here, just to assure my body, also to gain some space between my hips and thighs. And I bet my sound isn't so good. It's hard to know. This is just an experiment without a microphone. So I'm just gonna place my hands in the groin area and just gently lengthen by pushing downward toward the bottom of the mat, feeling some space between my bones in the back. And I'm just going to gently hold there for 3 breaths. And then gently release that tractioning. And just place my hands alongside the body. And right away, my body, see, kind of knows what it wants to do. It's not so much about what I want it to do. And it started to tip the pelvis towards the feet. So I'm going to go with that. And come back through, tilting the pelvis up toward the head. So arching and flattening. Feeling the spine as it moves with the drive of the pelvis. So you may be surprised to know, despite a lot of the videos that I've done in yoga on YouTube, that I have not been very comfortable with doing lives. And it's been kind of a fear of mine to do them. If they don't work out, I could just delete it. It's no big deal. So that's just me again working with my fear, moving past it. I'm so sick of it, I'm sick of things. I'm sick of my thoughts, or not sick of. I just don't want my thoughts to control what I do or don't do anymore. I want something higher to govern my choices in my life. So I'm going to now just rock towards right side of pelvis and then left side of pelvis. And just notice how that movement happens and the pressure that changes through the foot on the opposite side as I tilt. Maybe feeling my lower back leave the floor. So just tilting the pelvis right to left instead of up and down. As I come through, it's important to remind myself not to anticipate the movement to the next side, but to simply let it release before I press in and tip to the opposite side. So often, we're economical creatures in a way, and the body finds ways to conserve energy and to be more efficient. But sometimes that efficiency includes unnecessary holding in anticipating movement that's coming. So it's good to take moments in between to make sure that you've released and let go. Now I'm going to go ahead and make clocks on the pelvis. So I'll start by tipping to the left and then down towards the feet, arching the back, over to the right, and then up towards the head. So going in this direction, just simple pelvic clocks. If you think of the face of a clock, you're rotating around the clock. Just noticing where the tightness is, where the holding is, if you have any tension, any pain. I definitely have more on my left side. And as I come around to that side, I can, instead of continue on the circle, I can take that little point of pain or discomfort, and I can just rock slightly back and forth over that point, just to kind of iron or smooth it out, and then continue along the circle. So I'll go a couple more times to this side. That helped a lot to smooth things out, that little rocking back and forth over the pain. Then when you get to the top of the circle, let's go the other way. So now to the right, down towards the feet, left, and up towards the head. And this side is a lot easier and smoother for me. There's no discomfort, so I don't need to pause anywhere. Just continuing making circles. And as you do, when this movement is new, you might be focusing more on how to make the movement. But as you become more familiar with the movement, you can start to pay attention to how it feels in the back body as you move. So maybe moving your attention from making the circles to how it feels at the shoulder blades as you come around, or other parts of the back, or head, or arms, all connected. And then go ahead and release that side and just notice any changes or sensation in the body. I'm feeling like a long body stretch here. So I'm going to just start here with the upper body, allowing that arch through the back as I reach my arms overhead. I'm flexing my feet, drawing my toes back towards my shin, digging my heels into the ground, arching the back, reaching and opening. And now full body stretch, so I'm taking the legs out, tightening all the muscles as I wrap them around the bones as I reach and hold. I can take some breaths here. So this is, it's a tightening with the reach. And then release and soften everything back. I really needed this. Okay, bring one knee into chest. And hold on just on the shin or on the back of the leg, whichever you prefer. And I'm just going to hold here and allow the lower back to kind of open up on the side. Allowing my shoulders to drop back with a release of the breath. And drawing in the leg a little closer to the body if possible, if the body invites. And just feeling like I want to smooth through the long side, just to notice from maybe the rib cage down to the upper thigh. What's going on there? I'm going to allow that bent knee to open out to the armpit, holding on either with one arm or both. At the moment, I'm liking both. Just allowing the knee to rest in the sling of the hands. A couple of breaths here. And then allowing that knee to cross over the center line of the body, and grab hold and pull a little bit with the other arm. And just, your knee might not go all the way down to the floor. That's not what this is about. Just notice what you feel in your lower back and your outer hip and back into the gluteal muscle. You might have an active long leg, or you might just be relaxed through the long leg. And I know what I want. My body just said, grab hold of the ankle of the long leg. So I'm going to bend at the knee and tuck that leg back. And then see if I can grab hold of the ankle or toes. And open up with the other arm out to the top corner of my mat. So this is a pretty deep stretch, and if you're not warmed up, or sometimes I get a cramp in my hamstring when I draw my foot in towards my hand. If that happens, just let it go and try again. And if you can't reach your ankle, then you don't need to. It's just, the curve of the body in this way. So I don't need to be holding onto my ankle. But if you can, then go for it. It'll increase there goes that hamstring. It'll increase the stretch through the quadricep or thigh of the bottom leg. And you may also notice a really lovely opening through the down side body, as well as an arching through the back and a lifting of that shoulder away from the floor. One more deep breath here. Okay, so a sound E just came to me, so I'm going to do that a couple times actually. Breathing in and making a long E sound. E. Releasing the ankle, lengthening that leg, bringing the upper body and knee back to neutral, holding there for a moment, letting the back relocate. And then stretching that leg out. Just noticing any difference between right and left. And let's go to the other side. So starting by just bringing knee into chest, holding on wherever you choose. Breathe. This is the side of my back where I have more of my problems. So I'm going to be extra gingerly. And of course, as you are invited to draw that knee closer, feel free. Okay. And then let's open that knee out to the side somewhere. One arm holding or both. Either way, allowing that knee to rest in the sling of the hands or hand. And I am going to go ahead and smooth down the long side of my body from the ribs, down the waist, groin, and the top of the thigh, just to give some feedback and feel what's happening to the tissues there under my hands as I go. Feeling the bones, and going back to holding. Let's cross over the body now, over the center. Again, the knee doesn't have to come down to the floor. Extended leg may be active, flexed, or relaxed, soft. Maybe you have your upper body grounded through the shoulders, or maybe you're turning onto that hip slightly and your back shoulder comes off, doesn't matter. And when you are ready or want to, start to bend that straight leg back behind you and see if you can grab hold of your ankle or your foot. Feels quite different on this side to me, and like to you as well. Again, remember you don't have to hold on to the foot or ankle, just be in this position. And then that bottom side arm to the upper corner. And if you find that your top leg feels as though you're hanging out from your hip and kind of pulling through, or it's tweaking the back in any way, just flex that foot and hold it at the level of the hip instead of letting it fall to the floor. You might want to have it fall to the floor if you want that stretch here. If it feels like too much, then just keep that leg at the level of the hip or thereabouts or higher. And breathe. You can also rest your ankle on your bottom thigh or your heel. A couple more deep breaths here. Letting go of the ankle or foot, straightening that leg, and bringing the knee across the body back to neutral. Letting the back find the floor again. And lengthening out both legs in a moment of Shavasana, just to feel right to left. Any kind of movements you want to do through the ankles, wrists, fingers, and toes. Just to wake them up, just to check in with them. Squeeze and release. And if you are able to, let's do some rocking on the spine. If that is not comfortable for you, just curl onto one side to push yourself into a seated position. Ooh, there goes that back again. So I'm overstretched, or I don't know, something on this side today from my driving and my sleeping. So do I want to rock up? No, I don't. So I'm going to turn to my side. Feel free to rock up if you want to. And come into an all fours position. All right, so we're going to start to arch the back in some cat-cow position type of movement, but let it be organic. You can shift your weight slightly towards the heels or towards the hands as you move. There is a weight through the hands and also through the knees that I am using to push, as if I'm stretching the mat apart, and pull. And all of that changes and increases sensation as I relate to the floor. So I'm allowing maybe things that you sometimes hear in your yoga classes not to do. Like I'm allowing my shoulders to come up towards my ears. My arms are straight, my elbows aren't locked, but I'm finding this sinking here with the sternum kind of coming through and towards the floor. And I can play around a little bit with my wrists as well. So maybe turning the fingers out to the side. The eyes of my elbows, or the creases of my elbows, are still pointing forwards as I move. Maybe changing to place the fingertips towards each other. Maybe even coming towards child's pose or puppy pose. So just flowing here, cat-cow-like movements, playing with the wrists, playing with the shoulders. In fact, let's go ahead and extend one arm forward And continue with the cat-cow. Just notice how it opens that side, nice and long. And other side. Coming back into a neutral position, let's tuck the toes. Lean back into the toes for a little bit of stretch, and also to feel the bounce, the spring through the feet. And I've been going 46 minutes. I won't be doing this much longer. We'll be coming to a close soon. I'll shoot for about an hour. Okay, pushing now up into your down dog. Starting on the toes. Pushing the hands in again, allowing the shoulders rather than to sink back. Let them meet the ears. Let the sternum fall through toward the floor. And lower the heels as much as you can in the moment, you want to. Need a little bit of movement from right to left through the feet. Coming to the toes again. Up and down. And then back to all fours. Into child's pose. Arms in front extended, resting your forehead on your hands, arms wrapped behind you. It's all good. Knees together, knees wider apart, just what you feel you need. So what I just did there was I made fists with the hands, and then I pushed through the back of the wrist up towards the mat edge, just to stretch through those lines of fascia from the hands down the sides of the body and also into the back, on both sides of the back. Okay, so let's walk the hands up and come into rock pose, thunderbolt, whatever you care to call it, sitting on your heels, hands on your thighs. Just take a moment here in stillness. And notice everything you feel from one sensation to the next. Allow your attention to flow. And then swivel your legs out in front of you into staff pose. Flexing the feet, knees can be bent. Hands giving you some purchase to lengthen through the lower back and bring those lower bones of the last three bones of the vertebrae forward. And from there, if you can grab hold somewhere on the legs comfortably. And rounding down if that is available to you. And for, let's get a little dynamic here towards the end of practice. Since this is meant to be a morning practice, let's just flow up and down with the breath. So exhale down, inhale up. And then at your rhythm. Inhale, hold up, and release. Okay. Maybe just feeling cobbler for a moment. And then coming into a seated position again to close. So we'll take a seated Shavasana. If you want to lie down, that's fine. Hands in Gyan Mudra, thumb and ring finger together. Sitting up nice and tall, returning to use the block if you would like to. Again, tuning into sensation in the body, tuning into those directions that were part of the meditation we started with. So feeling the ground beneath you, the space above you, the space behind you, to both sides of you, and to the front of you. And drawing all of these energies into the center of the heart, uniting them. You are here. Let's crisscross hands over heart. Allow your hands to communicate to your heart to communicate back to your hands. Receive your touch. Receive your groundedness, your rootedness. Receive the assurance. And return to any intention you set for your day. And know that it is unfolding perfectly. Happy travels, yogis. See you again soon. I should say the things that all YouTubey people say, which is if you enjoyed this practice, please like and share and hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell and etc., etc., etc. It does help supposedly grow the channel and get more views, and then I can do more, and etc., etc. So thank you. Also, my website, divinemetime.com. Check it out and see what I have on offer there. Take care. And stream.